Are you looking for a new math curriculum? Well, CTC Math specializes in providing online video tutorials that take a multi-sensory approach to learning. Favorably reviewed in Kathy Duffy's 102 Top Picks and the Old Schoolhouse Crew Review. The lessons are short and concise to help your children break down concepts and appreciate math in a whole new way. The lessons are taught the traditional way, not to the test. Each one of the video tutorials is taught by an internationally acclaimed teacher, Pat Murray, who is renowned for teaching math concepts in a simple, easy-to-understand way and in only a few minutes at a time. Using a multi-sensory approach, having the combination of effective graphics and animation synchronized with the voice of a friendly teacher together with practical assessment, even students who struggled with math are getting fantastic results. And the ones that were doing okay before now are doing brilliantly. Visit CTC Math today and start your free trial. That's ctcmath.com.
This is a production of the Ultimate Homeschool Radio Network. Welcome to the Vintage Homeschool Mom Show. Your host, Felice Gerwitz, is an author, a publisher, and your radio show host. She will encourage, educate, and inspire you with answers to your most pressing questions from homeschool, marriage, parenting, and much more. Felice loves to equip moms to live a Christian life because every moment counts. Be sure to visit her website at mediaangels.com. And here's your host, Felice Gerwitz.
Hey friends, welcome. This is Felice Gerwitz with an episode of Vintage Homeschool Moms. Today we are going to talk about appreciating those blessings from heaven. We are on episode 495. Can you believe that? Almost at episode 500. So stay with us because we're going to do something exciting for episode 500 coming up. But you can find today's show notes at vintagehomeschoolmoms.com. Look for episode 495, Blessings from Heaven. And a shout out to our sponsor, CTC Math. You can find out more about their curriculum at ctcmath.com. So today our topic is kind of a fun one. I was watching my grandkids, and so it just reminded me when I was listening to their chatter and their busyness about how I couldn't appreciate my own kids as much as I enjoy my grandkids because I didn't have the luxury of just sitting back and watching and appreciating. And I thought, gosh, I wish someone had told me when I was younger to just, chill a little bit. Don't worry so much and enjoy them while you have them. And so I'm going to share with you a little bit of a personal story, but some things that you may consider doing as well. In my schoolroom, there's a plaque, and I actually went upstairs because my schoolroom is now, kind of a rec room. There's a couch in there and a ping pong table and air hockey, and that's where the grandkids have their Legos. And so I went upstairs to look to see if that plaque was still there, and it is still there. I began my journey in 1994, and I ended in 2018, and it still is there as a reminder, and it says, "Dear Lord, grant me the patience to endure my blessings." And I used to see that each day when we were homeschooling, and it was just a gentle reminder that I wish I had taken to heart a little bit more. I love the quote by Saint Mother Theresa, and it says, "It's very important that children learn from their fathers and mothers how to love one another, not in the school, not from their teacher, but from you. It is very important that you share with your children the joy of that smile." And she goes on to say, "There will be misunderstandings. Every family has its cross. It's suffering. Always be the first to forgive with a smile. Be cheerful and be happy." Mother Theresa had so many wonderful things to say, and so many of her quotes long after she's passed are still remembered. And I'll share some more of them as related to children in this podcast. However, As she said, there will be misunderstandings, and every family has its cross and its suffering. And don't we all know that? It is not easy to be cheerful, to be happy, especially when we're in the midst of spilled milk, school-age kids, and we're just too busy trying to keep up. Of course, when I think back fondly on those days, I think, gosh, those were the simpler days. But when I was in the midst of diapers and laundry and homeschooling older kids, I know what you're going through. The saying, little kids, little problems, big kids, big problems, is real. At times I struggled to appreciate one of my sons, and I realized, you know what? I'm not praying for him. So I would pray first for myself. Lord, please help me to love him as you love him. And then for him specifically. It helped tremendously. I could pray, Lord, give him more self-control. Or, Lord, please help him to temper his tongue. Instead of only looking at bad behavior, I was reminded that he is a child of God, so I would pray blessings upon him. My husband and I often joined together and prayed for our kids. We prayed together as a family, and still, daily struggles cropped up. At times I struggled to appreciate just the fact that I was able to stay home and school my kids. Many of you who are listening homeschool your children, and you are truly heroes for loving your kids and caring enough to take the effort and make the effort that it takes on a daily basis. You are the unsung heroes. If someone had told me that when I was in the midst of homeschooling, I would have probably said that's not true. You just haven't sat in on one of my days when I lose it with my kids. But even when we lose it, our kids know we love them. And if they don't, that's something we should remedy. This cannot be minimized or forgotten. One of the best blessings I have now is being able to watch my grandchildren be homeschooled and loving it. Homeschooling takes most of the day for many of us, especially as the children get older. Most importantly, our time and devotion to our children make a difference. Yet it is sometimes a struggle to have our children finish their schoolwork and chores and do what they require each day. We are constantly on them for something. How can we appreciate our blessings from heaven when we're dealing with their basic needs, raising and correcting misbehavior? That is tough. For this to happen, there needs to be a foundation that comes from love. Mother Theresa again said, "What can you do to promote world peace? Go home and love your family." We have an example of unconditional love of God. He loves the sinner, but not the sin. We can use this as a foundation of our love for our children. We separate them from their misdeeds and focus on correcting them with love. We never use words like, "I hate you." We never use words like, "You're just stupid," or "You're just," whatever that is. I call that character assassination. Instead, we should be saying, "I really don't like when you act like that," or "You're not permitted to hit your brother. You should not throw something across the room, and there's going to be a consequence for that." And then we have to follow through. Our kids need to know they are loved. You do this by saying it to them. And if you're uncomfortable with this, tell them at some point that you care. We think we're doing this as parents, but more times than not, we expect our kids to know they are loved when they don't feel loved. In romantic love, we would never expect to know we were in love. We'd want to be told. Of course, you can show your love to someone by your actions. But as parents, our actions tend to be relegated to feeding, clothing, and caring for our young. Are you honest with your kids? Think about that question. When you're upset with them for an infraction, do you say it with love or with anger? When you need them to listen when you speak, which is always, are you clear in your instruction? Our frustrations with our children stem mostly from the lack of follow-through and how the children seem to have selected listening. I've witnessed this in my own family. Therefore, I tried to give clear instructions and I needed to make myself follow through. As I've shared with you before, my husband would always say, kids are gamblers and they're going to gamble that you're not going to get up that last time. I had to check to be sure when I asked something, if something was completed, that I checked to make sure it was, and if there wasn't, that there were consequences. I watch other people, and my daughter is an amazing example of parenting. She's calm and very rarely raises her voice. She deals with things in an uplifting way, and her kids listen well. When they were really little, she would come to the house and say, Grandma, I'm sorry, we can't visit with you right now. Alex or whoever it was had to go to the corner and spend a little bit of time in timeout before they could come out and talk to their mom about what they did wrong in the car. She took care of it immediately. She didn't just fluff it under the rug, and that's great because she has a lot of children. Observing other people enjoy their children was an eye-opener for me as well. I was so busy doing that I found out I was missing the biggest gift right in front of me. Sitting with a dear friend and watching the children play in her backyard, I was surprised when our conversation was focused on her love of watching her children. Truthfully, all I could think about was, oh my gosh, this is adult time, and I don't want to talk about watching our kids. I want to just talk to an adult. But instead, she was sharing how much she was enjoying her kids and the cute things they were doing. And I just observed, and I walked away changed. I could see not only her love for children, but also for them individually. She is one of those people who appreciates the little things, and it taught me something that day. I learned to stop and appreciate my kids. And now it's almost impossible for me not to do that. They're not around all the time. My children are adults. But when they are around, I make a point in appreciating them for who they are now as young adults. If you're sitting outdoors watching your kids play, how easy is it to jump on a phone call or text or go on social media? None of those things are wrong, and I get it. We all need a break. But just for a few minutes, watch your kids, observe their antics, and enjoy them. And you may be thinking, wait a minute, you don't know me. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know my kids. And you're right, I don't. You know your family best. And even if it's just for a few minutes, take joy in that. As a mom and dad, there's so much to do, and sitting idly doesn't happen unless you have a full staff at home to help you, and most of us don't. My family grew from 2 kids to 5 kids, and then I had a dad who lived with me in his 70s and 80s. We were able to enjoy our kids, younger and older, and multi-generations. I was able to watch the impact my father and my mother, who had died years before, had on my children, and then my in-laws. We can learn so much from our parents even as adults. We want our children to love and honor us, and we must set an example whenever possible. My parents were the ones who would point out things that I could do to be a better parent, not in a belittling way, but in an encouraging way. As a parent and a grandparent, I try to do the same thing. I would never call out my child who is parenting her kids and embarrass her. How can we expect people to listen to us if we're belittling? We should be as uplifting as we possibly can be. And if we have to take a break, we need to do that, even if it's for a few minutes. I have several podcasts about refreshing yourself as a parent because I found, no, I didn't have hours upon hours for a spa day. I'm not even a big spa day person. But I did enjoy those 5-minute breaks or 10-minute breaks or a bath at night. And that was a way to rejuvenate me and be able to be all I could be for my kids. I host another podcast. It's A Few Minutes with God on our sister network. You can find it at afewminuteswithgodpodcast.com. And it's on the Ultimate Christian Podcast Network. And I have given challenges at the end of each broadcast for the last 2 years. So I decided a challenge would be a good way to practice what I preach. So on this podcast, in the spirit of solidarity, I'm going to do it with you. I will join you in the next week in appreciating my blessings, praying for them daily, and letting them know they are loved. Will you join me? I hope you do. I have several resources on the show notes for this podcast at vintagehomeschoolmoms.com, episode 495, Blessings from Heaven, and you can find them there, as well as leaving you with a few more Mother Theresa quotes. She said, "How can there be too many children? That's like saying there are too many flowers." And a child is the beauty of God that He presents to the world, that greatest gift to a family. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you stopping by. Please join us at the Ultimate Homeschool Podcast Network, where you will find lots of other great podcasts for your enjoyment, and it's all free. So do me a favor, share this episode with a friend, and give me a rating on social media. Take care, God bless, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Homeschool Mom Show. Visit Felice at MediaAngels.com and TheVintageHomeschoolMoms.com. Vintage Homeschool Moms is a production of the Ultimate Homeschool Radio Network.